A good day to be alive. Come to think of it, every day's a good day to be alive.
Thanks for joining me on a special edition of Chronic Conversation. Today is a Mental Health Matters. We're going to do some Health Matters episodes as well, but today will be a mental health episode. My guest today is Eric Wellness. We're going to do things a little bit different. As you see, we're outside enjoying nature where the sun's not trying to frost. It's trying to frost a little bit. It may still before the end of the show. But before we get started, I want to say this entire conversation is opinion and based on our individual personal experiences. Everyone is different. Please talk to a professional to diagnose or treat any physical or mental ailments. Always go to a professional. So Eric, we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. We had discussed you coming to do a Mental Health Matters episode previously, and then recently you contacted me about going ahead with the episode. Do you want to talk a little bit about why I asked you originally to join the episode, and then what has happened recently that decided?
I know we did the Titans episode, and you wanted to talk to a comic about mental health, and at that moment, I thought it'd be a good idea, but I didn't. But a lot of things, clue. I didn't. I was like, all right, I may do that one day. And this year and a half later, I'm pretty much like ready to talk about it because have been hitting a rough, long year and a half.
Yeah. There's been a lot of things happen, especially recently. Do you mind? Would it bother you sharing?
Sure.
With us
That's why I got on
recently?
here for. I wanted to tell my story, maybe to help someone else out.
Okay.
Tell them think they're not alone or anything. On July 11, 2022, my father of 63 passed away of a heart attack. And that's where it started a little bit. Then less than a year later, on Memorial Day weekend, on a Saturday, my girlfriend of 5 years passed away. So that's where it kind of hit the down spiral, or whatever I'm to look for at that moment, because the most important people in my life just passed away.
Right.
And
well, one of the things I'm proud of you for in the beginning is for reaching out, because a lot of people try to deal with these things themselves and don't reach out, especially men. What was it that made you finally decide to reach out?
Well, for the last year, for the 5 years, my girlfriend, we knew she had an illness. It's genetic. She would suffer from blood clots in the lungs. So for the last 5 years, at the beginning, it was all great. The last year and a half, I was watching my girlfriend that I loved so very much deteriorate. She would lose the ability to walk. She would have hallucinations at night, and to the point where she was in a hospice at 42.
Man.
And so I had to watch that. And me being the person I am, I want to be very helpful and try to make everybody happy. I'm a comic. I love to make people laugh.
Did you try at that time to sort of push back your own feelings and maybe think I'll deal with this later as you tried to cheer her up? And
exactly. My personality with me and the people I've been talking to is my personality. I like to help people. I'm my best person when I'm helping someone else.
Right.
Because I don't know how to help myself out.
Which is probably how you ended up sort of drawn towards comedy as well.
Right.
Because a lot of comedians, it comes from a place of pain, the laughter and the things.
Not at first. It was mostly something that I admired to do, but as I get to it now, it is more of a relief. I've been doing it for 11 years. Lately, it's been slow because I haven't really had the drive.
Right.
Because with everything
Which
going
is
on,
understandable.
it's just it's a lot of things on me, and I have to figure out myself before I can try to make other people laugh and have fun.
Right, and you had mentioned to me before you were in individual and group therapy, so that's one of the ways you reached out. So without going into too much details or anything, kind of tell people how that has been a piece of your mental health puzzle going forward with the grief and dealing with just getting on with everyday life.
Well, the most important thing is if you need to quit anything, if you need help in anything in life, you yourself need to have the mindset that you need help.
Right. And that you want it, because reaching out is...
Yes, that's the hardest part.
It's really the first part of the healing, too,
Yes.
is that you've admitted this is bigger than you. And
right, and it took me. I didn't have no one push me to say, hey, I need help. I need to do this. because even work started noticing. Because I was when my girlfriend was the last year when my girlfriend was passing, I was working 60 plus hours, driving back and forth from Trenton, Georgia, Highway 58.
Right. Yeah.
And there were sometimes
I'm familiar with those drives.
yeah, it was sometimes it took everything in my world just to me to get out of the car.
Right.
Because I was going, my girlfriend was slowly declining, and I was at work 60 hours a week, worn out, and couldn't even function. And I was just going through the motions. So by then I knew I needed help. I tried the work help, but they can only do so much on the phone. So,
and that's part of it, right? Is finding the right help for you, because as we mentioned earlier, everybody's different.
Oh,
and
very different.
everybody has different needs, but this was exactly what you were doing for you.
Right. I was doing it for me, especially for me and my daughter, who happens to be my girlfriend's real daughter. She's we were never married, so she's never my stepdaughter, but I consider my daughter. She was getting help from her work because she works for 911 dispatch. So she's getting help through her work. So I thought I need to man up and do it and get some help because I could not do this on my own, because I've never been through this situation.
It's in contrary, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength to reach out and get help.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of courage, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what is courage and bravery but pushing through something that terrifies you? It's not the lack of fear or the lack of problems or anything. It's you know, what makes you brave is the reaching out. We was talking about pieces of the mental health puzzle. I have many myself. Very rarely you just go to individual therapy, or just go to group therapy, or just take a pill, or just do this or that, because you need several pieces, and one of the things about growing and becoming a better version of yourself is finding these pieces that help you along the way. Let's talk about some of these other pieces that might have helped you along with the therapies, your mental health. I know you told me today you was at the battlefield. What were you doing there?
Yes, I was walking. Me and my therapist thought getting out walking, especially getting in the sun, that encourages the good energy to come out. You got this real flow of energy. Just getting out and walking.
Yeah.
Being physical. Maybe go to the gym.
Dissipate some of the energy.
Yes. Because it's not easy.
No.
Especially when you're used to caring for someone and you're in a relationship, you can push and you know they have problems, you can focus on their problems and not yours.
Yeah.
And now that you're
That's like your drug, but now your drug is gone and you have to focus on
you got to focus on
yourself.
myself. And I've never, and like I said, I was married for 10 years, went through a divorce. I met Kristen, was good at her for 5 years. And I've never sat back and go, what can I do for me?
Right. You know, you're talking about the walk and the exercise. Isn't it funny how the paradox of mental health works? Because the least thing you want to do are all the things that can help you. For example, meditation, exercise, eating right. When what you really want to do is just, you know, the exact opposite. How do you push through and try to stay on the same track? And healing's not this, right? No. It's grief and healing. It's circles, bad days, you circle back around. How do you push through those little moments to get through to the next? It's just minute by minute, or
me and my therapist talked about this last week. We talked about thinking opposite.
Yeah.
If you yourself saying, like you're saying, I was going to work, I didn't think about getting out of the car, and I got out of the car. Just get out of the car.
Yeah.
That's just getting out of the car and walk. Like,
it sounds easy, but just do it is literally the best advice.
Just do it. Right.
You can
just think opposite.
It's so practical. Just do it.
Right. Because it's small steps. You know, like because the way my head's sitting right now, I'm thinking this should be a race and I should be getting through this.
Right.
But it's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's one step at a time.
Yeah.
Because I've never felt this way, and I'm one of the people that wants to know how much work you want me to do and how long it will take.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the work, and I don't know
here's
how
the
long
way you
it's
look at
take.
it. It takes forever because there is no end point. There is no goal. Mental health is a continual thing that you have to work on until the day you die. And that's why you got to think of it as just engage in certain activities, because it's a tough world we live in. And there's many things that can, from the news to things that are happening.
Yeah, I stay away from the news.
Yeah, there's so many things that, work, family problems, so many areas where there can be problems that can cause mental health issues. That it's not always the big ones. It's not, you don't have to be bipolar or
No.
have a major depressive disorder or something to seek out help either, because that's one of the things that took me a long time to start
Right,
getting
me
help.
too. Because when I walked in there,
My problems can't be as bad as all these other people.
right,
They're the ones that need help.
exactly.
I'm good.
You're downplaying your
Yeah.
situation, and when I went into group therapy, I met a lot of wonderful people that's going through some hard times, and I was downplaying mine, and I got to realize your problems ain't small.
Right.
It's something that you've never been through. If it's something you've been through,
It's
you
also
know.
another way not to deal with them, right?
Right.
They're small, so I won't deal with them.
Right, and if you've been through this before, you know what to do, and I don't know what to do. You wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
When two of the most important people in your life has gone just like that.
Mm-hmm. You're learning just like when you walk. When you were
Right.
learning to walk, there was a process. It didn't end with learning to walk, did it? No, you learned to jump. You learned to run. There's so many
Right.
more things. So definitely you want to have goals, but probably the best thing is to have tiny ones that
Right.
are really achievable. Like
Right.
this morning, even if the only thing you do is get up and make the bed, then you've accomplished something,
Right.
right?
Here's one thing I tell you, people, especially because a lot of people, if anybody's listening to this, they try to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
You say you go small. You don't say I'm gonna lose 25 pounds in a month.
Right.
If you don't lose 25 pounds, but you lost weight, and you didn't lose 25 pounds, you're disappointing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't set a good goal for yourself.
Right.
Set a small goal.
The consistency of those small goals will add up to
Exactly.
big things and
Like
big
5
changes.
pounds will end up to 10 pounds. You'll be like, hey, I want to lose 5 pounds in a couple months to 10 pounds in a couple months. Eventually, you'll get to that goal.
Right.
Don't set it high because you're gonna when you get to that scale and it doesn't happen, you're gonna quit doing it,
Right.
and you're gonna walk away from it, and you're gonna be deflated, not have the confidence to do it. But you were putting it in the work. You just had to continue putting in the work. You just have to do it in slow strides.
And you, again, with the individual and group therapy, explain to people why you feel both is necessary and which functions kind of each one's perform.
Which,
in your-
okay,
in your mental health.
individual thing is mostly something you're getting your stuff out that you want to talk about.
Right.
What's on your mind? What's going on? In
Right.
group, you're listening to everybody and how you're dealing with it, how that person's dealing with it, how they're doing. You're just pretty much gaining ideas, and you share a little bit of your stuff, but you're not sharing completely. But you're gaining information from each person because everybody's in their different journey.
Right. Right.
You're learning
Different choices.
how they're coping with it, an idea of what they're doing, how to cope with it. Coping skills like walking, working out, drawing,
Right.
coloring, reading a book, watching a movie, being with friends and family, just getting out of the house, doing small chores around
Going
the
to a
house.
comedy show, seeing
Yeah.
Eric.
Right, there's something like that. Just,
Right.
It's just like we said, just baby steps. Now, it's not. It's. I wish it would.
And don't judge yourself. That's got to be important too,
Yes,
because
and that's what I'm bad about.
at the end of the day, when you're looking back over your day, I'm sure there's things, I wish I'd done this, wish I'd done that. Instead of
Right.
looking overall at the day and going, I was a human, I did the best I can, I'm happy with that, I'm going to go to sleep happy with that. Because Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic, said that every day dies
Right.
to you. So you got to let the day die. Once you're getting ready to go to bed, the day's done dead. Like
Right.
you can't bring back the past, you can't do those things again. So you want to have a healthy remembrance of the past. So you might want to look over your shoulder every once in a while. You just don't want to stare and get caught in that abyss, right?
I recently had a situation where I thought it'd be a good idea to get back into dating.
Right.
And I met this wonderful lady. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to bash her.
And let's say it's probably not good to make any major life decisions on anything when
Right.
you're in this part of the grieving
Exactly.
process. But you do because I'm sure you were lonely, and here's an opportunity to maybe help somebody again.
Right, help somebody. And I'm not mad at her. I was mad, but like I keep thinking about this situation. I'm not mad at her. I'm not going to say her name. I'm just going to say, I don't know if she'll ever see this, but I'll see this. I apologize. At the situation, I was mad at her, but she was dishonest with me. She did not feel the same way I did.
You weren't ready to hear truths at all then.
Right.
She was your new drug, and now your new drug was going away.
Right.
And now here I am back
'Cause
to
I was-
having to deal with myself.
Because I was
again.
slowly I was coming back to my old self.
Right.
I was at peace, and I don't want nothing major. I just want to be at peace.
But that's a big
and relax.
responsibility, for somebody else to handle, right? To put on their shoulders.
Right, yeah, I understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yes, I do. And I should find that on my own.
Yeah.
And that's the weird part. I don't know how to find that right now. I'm trying to.
Right.
I just got to.
And again, baby steps. There's no.
Right.
There is no pure place of happiness because there's yin and yang to life, and there's still going to be other things happen. It's
Right.
not like now that this is done, nothing ever bad is going to happen.
Right.
So first thing you got to know is you're going to wake up, and sometimes bad shit's going to happen.
Right. And you've got to sometimes, because because I got a lovely therapist, she's great. I know she's going to see this because I told her about it. She wants to see this.
And don't be afraid to. Some people are afraid to go to different therapists. Sometimes different therapists can provide different perspectives or
yes.
different
It's like a
areas. It's not a personal thing. You need to do what's best for you. Just like if you're going to a knee doctor, you want to find one that's
Second opinions.
Yeah, second
so
opinions
it's
and-
fine. It's like finding the right bike. You want to ride that bike. Oh, this one doesn't work very well. Go on the other one because like people have different personalities how they approach
different
people.
preferences.
Yes,
Different.
and right. And we were
Sometimes
talking.
people resonate or they don't.
Exactly. We were talking about something like this about the logic brain and the emotional brain. The logic brain and emotional. And right now, I told her right now my emotions are all over the place. My logic part of my brain is pretty much like someone trying to talk someone off a cliff.
Right.
I can talk to. My logic brain can talk to my emotions.
Yep.
Keep it at check. But right now, I'm trying my best to balance it out because I'm very emotional and a logic at the same time. But my emotion brain is all over the place.
Here's something logical for you too. The goal is not to get rid of those emotions. The goal is to learn to be happy living with those emotions.
Right.
And know that they are like clouds. You can look at those things, you sit back, look at them, and just watch them float away. Because eventually they will.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't. They say time heals all wounds. I don't know if those wounds heal or not, but
No.
you do get better at dealing with it, right?
Exactly. You just got to learn how to deal with them. Because I'm not want to get. I want to go from having bad days to bad moments
Right.
to bad small times.
Right.
Just small time, just small steps. Because I'm having bad days, good days, but I'm also I wanted to go from bad days to probably a bad moment.
Right.
Something I can work through. Let's go for a walk. Let's get out. Let's fix something. Let's work on something. Let's do something productive
Right.
to then sit around here and think about this.
And here's something crazy too. We talked about looking at the past. I think looking at the future too much, or too much hope in things being better, leads you to waiting for that next person, that next job, that next day, and you live your life on this future cycle to where it just disappears from you.
Right.
To me, I love this thing they call mindfulness, which basically in the easiest terms mean just living in this moment.
Right.
Because in this moment, there's rarely as much wrong with you as your mind makes it out. Because your mind
Your
always
mind,
makes
you
things
can
bigger,
over exaggerate the situation.
Right.
And
Is there anything you do to help that right now? So you're not, thinking, oh, I'll be better when,
Right.
and saying I'm better right now. I'm doing the things I need to do. This is the best version of me I can be right now.
right. This is where I'm at. When I go for walks, I listen to music. I think to myself, and I actually another thing that might help people. If you're gonna set goals, write them goals down.
Right.
I have it wrote down next to a mirror next to my
If you don't mind, I would like to post that because I love your list. It's a great list. So if
Right.
you don't mind, I'd love to
I
post
would,
that.
yeah,
as
most definitely. Yeah. Basically,
promotional.
it's pretty much give you time to heal. Make sure you're working on your mental and physical health.
Right.
Give yourself time to do something physical, and if you're going through something that I'm going through, and you're trying to stay away from dating at that moment, stay away from online dating.
Right.
Take that time you want to put on, just been on that phone and texting women or men, and put it on something positive, like learning to do something else, learning
Right.
something that you wanted to learn, learning a new language, learning something that makes you a better person or helps you at that moment.
Yeah, because it helps you neurologically as well, and even really weird mundane things like learning to write with your right hand.
Right.
I mean your opposite hand that you write with.
Whatever your hand you don't write with.
Right. Friends oftentimes, as you say, a lot of us in groups want to help, but you got to learn yourself a little bit to know what kind of help you need, because people need different things from friends. Some people need a friend to talk to them and share stories of themselves, or maybe offer advice. Sometimes you just need them to just shut the fuck up and sit there and listen.
Right.
So how important do you think it is of the person asking for help or getting talked to by a friend to kind of let them know what your needs are in the beginning, so they're not, because you could get angry, you're like, why is he telling me this, whatever, but really the truth is, it's just that they don't know. We have expectations sometimes that, well, they should know, but they shouldn't. We need to communicate. So
being honest with your friend.
right.
Tell your friend, hey,
Just like that girl was with you, no matter how hard it is or how it might strike you, right?
right. Just be honest with the person that you're talking to or
Mm-hmm.
that friend you want to talk to.
Right.
You say, hey, I know you're not going to be able to fix this. I don't
Right.
want you to fix it,
Right.
but I want you to just listen.
Yeah. Sometimes you just
Okay.
need somebody to hang out with you while you're trying to fix it, just for support, right?
Right. Someone that, just someone to pat you on the back and say, you're doing fine. You're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be all right. But he just needs that little moral support.
And people like me are slow, so I need that advice anyway, because I'm
Right.
one that's automatically, like, I'm that helper, so I want to be like, well, this is what I did, and this is what I read, and this is, but sometimes that's not what people need. So it's
Right.
as somebody who's wanting to help you, let me know what you need, and if you just need me to shut the fuck up, I'm not going to get offended, because we're friends, we're family. You can literally tell me to shut the fuck up.
Right.
No.
Yeah, just basically, if it's someone you need to listen, then tell them I need you to just listen.
Yeah.
And like, but
I
if
just need
you
to get this out of me.
yeah, I need to get this out of me. But if you want their opinion, go, hey, what's your opinion? And just don't take everybody, like you said, everybody has different opinions on this situation.
Right,
Don't take
different
everybody's
preferences, different.
Don't take everything someone says to the point where it's gonna have to be that way. You've got to find your. You got to
Like
find
jokes, you got to go with the ones that work, right?
Right. Every joke and every personality is different,
Mm-hmm.
and it's whatever is comfortable for you. If you want to laugh at the joke, laugh at it. If you don't.
Right.
There's always the next thing you can try.
There's no right and wrong in a lot of this. It's just be.
Right.
Just learn to just be.
You got to learn to adjust to the situation because you're not the same person you were before.
What overall has been the hardest to deal with in normal life while you're also trying to get things, and how did you get, because I know you're probably at least, if even it's a little bit at a better point than you were, how did you get that point for the people out there that may need some of that advice as far as how to get there?
Well, I'm still trying to figure that out.
And that's good too that you know that, right?
Right. And when my dad passed away, I was going to the gym to help me with stress.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still my girlfriend was sick. It's still sick. Was sick at the time, and I
Yeah.
was trying to work out, get away from the house, work some of that energy out. But when my
Right.
dad died, I went to the gym, and I didn't feel like I wanted to be there, so I quit going to the gym.
Right. You were
And
led
then
by your emotions at that time, right?
Yes, my depression kicked in full gear, and then I buried myself into helping my Kristen out, and I would take moments for myself for like an hour and a half to maybe go play golf or something that I like to do to get away.
But I bet, knowing the type of person you were, even when you were doing those things, you felt guilty and you were thinking about what you should have been doing.
Yes,
Did that
but
ever occur?
I don't think.
Or were you able to just
At
detach
that time,
and enjoy?
at that time, I was able to, but right now I feel guilty because I feel like I can do more to help myself than being out here.
Right.
But this is helping me out, and I
Right.
should know this.
Right. And you see, you're judging the amount of stuff you're doing too.
Right.
You can't do that. Again, if all you did was get out of bed and make the bed, you didn't have to write in your diary. You don't have to write jokes. You don't have to go on a walk. It's great to do those things, and you need to do them most days.
Right.
But if some days all you do is get out of bed and make the bed, or don't even make the bed, all you do is get out of bed, then you walk from one room into another, even to sit down and watch TV. It doesn't seem like that much, but it's like with weight loss or anything else, that first pound, a pound is so much,
Right.
you just don't realize it.
Right.
And it's the same thing with mental health. It's those little bitty things
Yes.
of letting go. Because let's talk about one thing you hear people say a lot is, I'm trying to find myself. When really, you don't find yourself. The way to be yourself is not to add things or to go places. It's to rid yourself of the things that aren't
Right. You want peace again.
Right, because the more things you rid off of you that aren't you, the more you can be.
Right.
At least in my opinion.
Basically, I'm not trying to find my old self. I'm not trying to find this. I'm just trying to find peace again.
Right.
Because I feel
So your
myself
goal is basically to be able to function better. Period.
relax.
Yeah.
Just enjoy
The moment.
Enjoy the moment. Enjoy just relaxing and not being in bed watching a movie and this stuff going over my head
and over.
over and over again. And I'm just for the first time in 42 years, I don't know if I had a panic attack, a Xanax attack. I was on edge
Right.
because my emotions were all over the place, and I didn't know how to keep it in check. I didn't
Right.
no idea, and I
Right.
just got out of the car, and I got out of the car, walked into a Dollar General, and bought something to drink, and came back in the car and sat out. And that's all I did, and it helped out because it got me into a public place where I'm surrounded by people, and it got me to calm down a little bit because you don't want to freak out in front of people.
No, that used to be one of my biggest fears, and eventually it did happen. But you were doing the perfect thing, because basically what you were doing is a technique called grounding.
Right.
It's one of the first techniques I learned. There's different versions of it and different ways to do it. But basically you're focusing on things you feel, things you can smell, things you can taste,
Right.
things you can touch, things you can see. And you're basically focusing on all those almost at the same time. And once you do that, it brings you into the moment, which
Right.
is really what meditation does, what ice baths do. There's 1,000 techniques, and different ones work for different people. So don't give up if you try things. Are there things you've tried so far that made you maybe think, because a lot of times I find something and you get that placebo effect, or you do feel better for a moment, and then you go back feeling back and you're like, well, fuck this, I see this is how I always feel, blah blah blah.
Right.
How do you overcome moments like that?
I've never really had that moment. Most of the time I just walk.
Yeah.
I needed my sleeping
That's
patterns
the
all
best.
over. My sleeping,
So underrated.
My sleeping patterns all over the place right now, and basically, sometimes what I need to do is probably just your best bet is probably go to bed and just
Yeah.
relax and
Yeah.
go to bed and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not working the next day, I'm probably laying in bed just thinking about it, watching a movie. Because I live in my driveway is a circle driveway, and I go outside and I walk around it.
Right.
I'm just walking around it, and I should be taking that time to get some sleep, but the rest of my mind. Because most time, what makes and is what makes a mental health worse is not sleeping, because your mind is always racing.
Sleep is one of the most important things, but I think like anything else, you kind of tend to overthink it,
Yes.
and you focus on what I'm not doing right more
Right.
than what I'm doing right. So you're not talking about how good it is to go for that walk. You're like, see, I should be doing this, so I'm doing the wrong thing, so I'm going to continue to punish myself, and this gives me an excuse for self-sabotage.
Right.
You know what else is going on? Let me get on this dating app. See, I'm just going to look, I'm just going to flip. She looks kind of cute. I might say, oh, she's been through some stuff too. I bet I could help her. You see,
Right.
there's all these things that, like anything else, alcoholism, sex addiction, gambling, it doesn't matter. We all have things we turn to get us away from our feelings.
Right.
So I think, at least in my case personally, the most important thing has been learning to, like I said earlier, just be with your feelings and sit with them and be like, I feel like this, and that's okay to feel like
Right.
this. You don't have to feel bad that you feel bad, which is what you probably tend to do sometimes.
Right.
I don't know. Some people may also tend to do that out there.
Right.
So if you do that, stop. Stop it right now. You're doing the best you can, and you know you are.
And I have the moments too, and I still have the moments, because
Which is okay, because
I'm more mad at myself for not the situation of
Right.
the situation she didn't like me no more.
Right.
No, she does like me. It's just I have the same feelings.
Right.
I'm more mad at myself for getting back into dating so fast, and I should not be mad at myself. It happens. You tried something. It didn't help.
Right.
It didn't work, and
Right.
I get mad at
you
myself.
learn from it, right?
Right. I'm still trying to learn from it.
Yeah.
Because it's still fresh. It happened last week.
So that means it's not as a bad of thing as you would want to make it out to be, probably in
Right.
your head. And I'm sure when you first, it's going to sting. It doesn't feel good getting.
Well, anybody's been through a breakup, but you've
Breakup.
never been through a breakup when you've been in this situation. And
Right.
I've been in this situation, and then a breakup, something small of a breakup that you've been talking to and hanging around for about 2 months, like 3 days.
Which
a week.
could have gave you an excuse to do a lot of stuff too, but you didn't. That's something you'd be proud of yourself for.
Right.
You didn't turn to drinking, drugs,
and I've actually-
unhealthy
It's-
habits to deal with that thing.
Right.
You're in therapy.
And I'm
you're walking.
actually
You're
42 years old and never had a drink or a smoke in my entire life.
well. That's good. That's
And
really good.
and I'm very proud of myself for that, because I grew up around I grew up around a lot of alcoholics, and I realized if it's something that easy to get addicted to, I'm not going to do it.
But the addictions that get us aren't the ones we know about.
Right.
It's the ones that
Exactly.
sneak up on us. It's
Yeah.
being addicted to romance, being
Right.
addicted to being in love, being
Right.
addicted to food, being addicted to TV. But there's so many other things
Exactly.
that you can turn in
Well, basically, when
to
I
an
was
addiction. How do you avoid the pitfalls of those sneaky ones? Because those are hard, right? Because you don't think of those.
think
as much.
opposite.
Yeah.
If you're like, hey, what if I call this girl up? She's always like me. What if I call her up and see how things go with her? right if you're on top of your head, you need to think opposite of that. You
Right.
need to think, oh, that's not going to help out the situation.
What if she goes, yuck? And you're like,
Right.
okay, well, this wasn't a great idea.
Right, because you may get rejected too, and it hurt
Right.
more. Just
You got to
the
look at
thing
it.
I've got to learn to myself is to actually focus and care for myself.
Right.
And
It's a learning process,
It
again,
is.
that's never going to end. You'll get better at it
right,
all the time.
yeah, it's like anything else. You didn't start off running; you just walked.
Hmm.
And it's because it's just maybe I care because for like 5 years I was taking care of a girl and her daughter who basically they both helped me out. I'm the better person because of them.
Right.
But I was also helping them out and everything. But towards the end, when I was really taking care of Kristen and she was in and out of consciousness and delusions and stuff like that,
Right.
I was basically, my stuff it was on the back burners. I was going through some things too. I was watching someone I love very, very much decline,
Right.
and I didn't know what to do. Or what
You had no control of it. There was nothing you could do. And
Right.
that probably drove you crazy because, again, you're used to fixing things and helping.
Right.
And this is a situation where you helped tremendously more than you could probably ever imagine. But you still don't feel like you did because what do you do?
Right.
You downplay yourself and judge, this is what I should have done. And there's always something you could have or should have
right.
done
And
differently. But
something else my therapist said: never to use the word "should"
right.
because there's not a sure thing.
No.
I shouldn't have done this. I
Right.
should have known this.
Right. No, you
you're
shouldn't
beating
have.
yourself up.
Exactly.
You're beating yourself up because you keep saying that.
You're looking for reasons to go back to those other addictions that,
Right, and maybe like a
Whatever it is.
girl or a guy just broke up with you, and you keep thinking about it. But in your head, you're like, you need to quit thinking, quit talking, thinking about it, quit doing this, quit doing that. And what you really need to do is say, hey, relax.
yeah, it's okay to think about it.
It's okay, relax.
Because what's like, there's I don't know, psychological, psychiatric trick that says, like, if I tell you right now, this very minute, stop thinking about a pink elephant. What's the first thing you thought
Pink
of?
elephant.
Pink elephant.
Now, like
because
when you're like, I tell people all the time, when you were a teenager and your parents told you not to do that,
Yeah.
what did you want to do?
a little bit of that reverse psychology.
Yes,
right.
you wanted to do it.
Yeah, use it on yourself sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's when the logic brain kicks in, saying, "Hey, no, that's probably not a good idea. You need to relax, find
And
something."
the
else
emotions
to
say,
do."
but I feel, and then you tell them, that's okay. Go ahead and feel. That's your job to feel.
Right.
My job is to think.
Right,
So I think part of healing is just what? Using
a little bit
'cause
of
you don't wanna-
logic and a little bit of
logic,
emotions.
yeah, a little bit of emotions, because some people are good at one or the other and think they leave that one behind and go the other. Like they're totally logical and they leave that behind and become totally emotional,
Right.
or they think they're emotional so they need to become totally logical, when really it's a good combination, and finding that right balance of both that leads to the best.
Right, like I said, like a guy's on a cliff, and the logic is pretty much the guy trying to talk him down to relax. And the logic is basically a small little voice that's telling you your emotions, hey, relax. You're overwhelming yourself. You're gonna go down a bad road if you keep going this way. You just need to relax.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I'm very proud of you and the things you've done, including coming on this show today. You reached out, and I appreciate you reaching out because it gave us an opportunity to talk about some things that may at least set somebody down the right road. Again,
Right.
these are all just things we've done to help us in our lives. All of it may or may not help you at all. You just got to find your own path. Start out by reaching to professionals. There's hotlines. There's online things if you don't want to go see somebody. There's tons of different ways to go about it, but definitely see a certified health professional. Before we wrap this up, is there any final piece of advice that you'd like to give, or things that you've learned that you would like to share so far in your journey? And we'll have you back again further down your journey and talk about where
most
you've come
definitely
from.
when
from
things
that.
get a little bit more less cloudy. I want to
Yeah.
say clear because
Right.
it never will be clear.
Right.
Less cloudy.
When things clear up a little
When
bit.
it clear up a little bit, I most definitely would be back. But I just want to tell people that, like I'm learning right now, this is an everyday learning ability to me.
Right.
It's just you got to take this as a marathon,
Yeah.
not a race.
No.
You've
It's
got
not a sprint.
You got to train your mind for this.
Yeah.
For the marathon, you got to
Yeah.
work on stuff that'll help you. Not everything is going to help. And
Live every moment and it'll carry you through that.
right.
If you're
And-
just right now lasts forever.
Right. And just take this, and this is the reason why I wanted to come on the show, because you gave me a platform to tell my story.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell
I
my
appreciate
story
that, man. That's really brave.
because if someone's going through some bad times, it's everybody is. But no one. Just get out and tell your story. If it's on TikTok, Facebook, something, just go out and tell your story. Release that story.
About
Maybe
people
you
you
get
trust.
positive feedback or something, because did a little bit of videos on TikTok, and I got some positive feedback. Don't let it go viral or anything like that. If you're looking for big things like that, you're looking in the
You're
right
in the
direction.
wrong, yeah.
You're
in the
looking,
wrong mind
I'm going to
space.
use my story to make millions of dollars or have millions of fans.
That's just going to lead you down a road that's going to make you
That's
more
just
miserable.
getting more
than-
depressed because you
Right.
just took your story and you
You
downplayed
perverted
it to the
it
point.
and
Yeah.
basically
You
pimped
set
it
it
out.
up for this, and it just needs to be something like that.
No. And also, I know one of the biggest reasons, without a doubt, was to help other people.
Right.
But I'm sure this one helped you out some too. I
Right.
hope it did, and I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, this is an honor to me to just tell my story. I just want someone out there to hear the story and hear what we've both been through and be able to talk about it and reach out. And I'm on Facebook, Eric Lones, Lones. Reach out to me if you need to,
Unless you're an Indianapolis Colts fan.
or Bama or Florida or
Okay, you could go ahead and call him anyway. We're just messing with you.
no. It's just I want people to be able to
Right.
because I didn't think before this. I didn't really think of mental health. I didn't think about it. I thought I was strong enough to make it through everything.
Right.
Because I've been.
And you are.
Oh yeah, I know I am.
It's just now you need some help. and that's-
Sometimes you need to make yourself stronger to get through something
Yep.
bigger.
Right.
And I thought I'd been through enough to get through this without help, and I was wrong.
Well, before I say this three-stripe life, but like Nike says, the best advice for positive mental health is just to do it.
Right.
No matter what you're doing, just do it. Just start. Just take that first step. Don't overthink it. Yeah, I know Reebok. They are not a sponsor, but they are a
But
very
you just
comfortable
mentioned
shirt.
Nike and
Yeah,
Reebok, and
no, and Three Stripe Life. That's Adidas. That's my preference.
like he's trying to get a shoe product, a shoe
I'm
sponsor.
Old. Yeah, I'm old, so my thing's Adidas, man. I started with the Run DMC. Well, man, Eric, I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
And when you do get back up on stage, let us know because I'm sure there's a lot of people like to come see you.
No problem. I will
And,
definitely on that.
yeah, you turn all this pain into creativity, brother, and let somebody else see it, and you can heal them through that sometimes,
No problem.
right?
Thank you, sir.
All right, and thank you for watching another edition. Thanks for my wife Jen always as helping out on this episode as she did, and stay tuned for further episodes of Getting Baked with Brand, further mental health matters episodes, health matters, chronic conversations, live sports. We are covering the Cannabis Festival at Coolidge Park on September 23rd. Lots of bands, lots of great vendors there, and a special shout out to our supporter and longtime friends out at Not Bad Creations. If you have any paracord needs, see them. Thanks. See you next time. Peace.